Hello, I'm the Angry Spork, and for this collector's edition episode, I'd like to do a top 10 list of things about Batman v Superman that are things about Batman v Superman that are that word.
Now, why would I do this for a movie that I dislike so much? Well, suffice it to say I lost a bet. Who the heck knew Aquaman would be good?
I was right and you were wrong. I was right and you were wrong. I was right and you... I'll be good, bro. Even a blind dog can find a bone every once in a while. Don't let it go to your cork. Admittedly tempting, but no. I can get through a video noting the positive things about this movie, and I don't have to resort to using a ring fueled by my anger. I can totally do this. Yeah. Let's just start the list.
Number 10, Lex Luthor is bald. Eventually.
I mean, what more do you need from someone playing Lex Luthor? He's really rich, he owns his own company, he hates Superman for some reason, and he's bald. Hey, Eisenberg didn't just wear a bald cap with a toupee on it, he had his hair shaved off. I mean, that's something. It's a little bit of a extra commitment, I suppose. Well, let's Lex Luthor, I guess. Nothing else to talk about now. Let's move on.
Number 9, Cherry Jolly Ranchers.
I mean, really, who doesn't love Cherry Jolly Ranchers? They're probably the best flavors, the one everyone wants. And you know Lex Luthor is resourceful because, he doesn't have grape. I mean... What is not magnificent about that scene? I mean, it's...
Introducing characters from the Superman mythos into this new universe.
I mean, what would we need with Lex Luthor having a bodyguard that's both an excellent hand-to-hand combatant and fiercely loyal to him, or Superman's pal, who is not only one of his closest friends, but also one of the more frail people in his life, but still... tries to help out when he can. There's just nowhere you can go with these people, narratively speaking, so I guess the less we got of them, the better.
Number 7, the Martha coincidence.
Now, this is what's been lampooned the most about this movie. Really, it's not a bad idea to point out that these two characters have mothers with the same name, because it was just kind of common at the time. And they weren't really thinking ahead of anything deep or connective between the two characters. It was just a little coincidence. And it's not a bad idea to point that coincidence out.
Number 6, it attempts to be cerebral.
Some movies just intend to be very basic, nothing too thought-provoking, nothing too immersive, just straight up action adventure or romance or slapstick comedy, and that's fine. And this movie brings up some very interesting points as to a real world scenario involving someone like Superman. It certainly brings those questions up. On to number 5 before I break my fingers.
Number 5, Wonder Woman.
Much like her solo film in this entire cinematic universe at the time, Wonder Woman's appearance is actually quite the highlight, and there's not a whole lot I don't like about it. It's decent fighting. Her theme song was a little iffy to me at first, but what can I say? Somehow it fits, so yeah, let's go on.
Number 4, Ben Affleck as Batman. Something I was never particularly worried about, to be honest.
Sure, not every movie he's been in has been a huge success, but that's true of any actor. Okay, Daredevil wasn't great, but that was hardly his fault. And honestly, I think that he's a perfectly capable actor, and he did fine in the role. When he has good material to work, I'm saying he's fine, and if he were to continue being Batman, I would be okay with it. Moving on.
For the next one, feats of strength are always a plus for a Superman film, whether he's fighting 3 equally powered Kryptonians or lifting an island laced with kryptonite into space.
That alone does not get the credit it deserves. It is admittedly and undeniably awesome.
Number 3, Superman towing the ship.
Now, in several respects, it is a bit more subtle than what the other examples have been, but there's nothing wrong with subtle, and it's in the same vein, so this in particular is good. Except for the fact that... No.
Number 2, the warehouse fight inspired by the Arkham games. Sorry I couldn't get any video clips of this one.
Yeah, that's all we need to take away from that, isn't it? Just the cool moves and how it emulated a popular game franchise. Nothing else to look at there.
And number 1, Superman walking into the hearing. It's not like anything happened after...
Nope, can't do it anymore. Nope, I held out as long as I can. I just can't hold back anymore. Yeah. Alright, let's really tackle this thing. Jesse Eisenberg? I don't think he's a bad actor. He was definitely given bad material. See, this Lex Luthor, whether you want to say it's the other Lex's son or based on this comic book you haven't read, he should still be a credible threat, able to be an intellectual match to skirt the justice system so that Batman and Superman are technically powerless to really arrest him. Stop his crimes, yes, but to make him face justice, that is another thing. And that could have played into the theme of justice that this movie was trying to go for, but no, they decided to go for giggling millennial idiot that only gets by because the heroes are even bigger idiots.
And knowledge is power. And I am... no.
Now, they could have gotten by in this movie without getting too detailed on the spaceship and the kryptonite and Zod's body all in one place so he could, use them for his evil intentions. They could have just kind of made a one-off remark, making some details known but more or less leaving it vague, or just say he has his ways, or bought the right people. But no, instead they decided to go for the creepiest product placement for a candy I've ever seen. Way to go!
It's cherry.
Killing off Mercy was silly enough as it was. It's like when DC killed off a comic book version of Artemis early in the New 52. It was a big tease, and you decided to let them down to be ironic, or subvert expectations, or whatever you think makes you sound more artsy. But Jimmy Olsen? Zack Snyder said he thought it would be fun to kill Jimmy Olsen gangland style, because they didn't know what to do with this character in their little universe. Well, maybe either you don't bring in the character at all, or maybe there's something wrong with your universe. I mean, you could have a universe with Superman and not Jimmy Olsen, but if you don't understand what Jimmy Olsen represents as a character and his relationship with Superman, the problem isn't the character, the problem is you! It's a problem DC's had for a lot of years, for a lot of reasons, in their comics too.
And could defenders of this movie please stop trying to retcon Snyder's conscious decision because it was a mistake? No one's buying it.
The Martha thing? That is rightfully mocked because it is done a lot more silly than I think they intended. I think a better way to do it that would have been a bit more, dignified is if earlier in the movie they didn't just clearly show you, hey, Bruce's mom's named Martha. Bruce's mom's named Martha. Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? you have Batman about to impale him when Superman says, "Save Martha Kent," but only the K in Kent is pronounced because Batman's got his foot on his throat. And he says, "Save who? Who are you talking about?" He says, "Save Martha Kent." And when Batman asks who he's talking about, that's when Lois comes in, tries to push the spear further away from Superman. She's not getting much, further away. It's not doing much, but it's something, and at least to her. And then she says, "It's his mother's name." And then Batman steps back. He doesn't go, "Why'd you say that name?" Blah, blah, blah. Okay? He steps back. He's taking a moment. He walks away. They think that he's gone. And after a moment of Superman recovering from kryptonite poisoning, Batman walks back in. He doesn't have the armor. He's in his normal gear. He doesn't have the spear. And he says, "I'll help you save your mom." He apologizes. I don't know, but I think that would have been a better alternative.
It's his mother's name!
Halting psychotic rage is so easy.
The movie never feels like it actually gets in depth with the themes it is playing at talking about. It thinks that just mentioning them like bullet points is the same thing as delving deep into the subjects of justice or higher powers, but it's not. It just feels like it's trying to make a shallow movie look deeper than it really is. And boy, Luthor's comments about God, not all powerful, not all good, oh, that is just disgustingly limited and laughably flawed.
Because today is a day for truth.
But mostly pee in a jar and explosions.
Wonder Woman? No, actually, she was a welcomed addition to this movie. Even the cat and mouse thing she had going on with Bruce earlier during the party and so forth, yeah, that was actually pretty good. I'll give it that. Could have done without the Justice League video footage stuff, though. I mean, that just seemed ham-fistedly bullhorned, and... Wait, those are two different barn animals.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
This is exactly why I hate fanships.
Affleck is a good actor. It's just... the material he's got to work with just isn't very good. Batman can't do math, and he's just killing people left and right. Oh, but he killed people in other movies. That's because it was a Hollywood convention. Now that comic book movies are taken a bit more seriously these days, we kind of expect them to be a bit more true to the characters they're representing. So, pardon us if murderer Batman on a killing spree isn't exactly our idea of a good time.
We have hospitals to treat the mentally ill with compassion.
If your mom's name is Martha.
Now, despite being a neat-looking display of power, the boat towing scene and the montage it's in has problems rooted in this overall new, gritty spin on Superman, in that in a world of cynicism, and this world is way too into its own cynicism, because everyone sucks, everything sucks, instead of working above it, rising above it, Superman succumbs to it. He looks like he's bothered. Oh, an entire town is flooded. I guess I have to be the one to save them. When am I ever going to get any me time? It's just... He's supposed to be an icon of hope, but I don't see any hope in any of these movies. Oh, but he dies to save the planet. No, he died, rather stupidly, because he loved Lois Lane. He didn't seem to care at all about the rest of the world. Lois and his mom, sure, but still, he didn't die for the planet. He died for his girlfriend and his mama. Even when he died in the comics, it was to save all the people, not just Lois. These people don't understand Superman, so they try and bend him into some twisted new vision that is just utterly depressing, and they want to think that it's artistic and new and compelling, when no. It is depressing. And as someone who has suffered from depression his entire life, let me tell you, not entertaining.
Hang on, let me finish this Instagram post. And now we come to the Arkham-style fight. What with the explosions and the stabbing and the more explosions.
Yeah, that scene was really cool, straight out of the Arkham games. And it would have looked just as cool without, all the murders. I mean, it was bad enough that Batman was just bumping off crooks that he's scared after busting through walls, chasing a truck full of kryptonite. that he already had a tracer on, so there was no need for the chasing. But then he decides to spare Superman's life because he realized maybe he shouldn't be killing people. And then, to save Martha Kent, he decided to start killing people again. People said that after killing Zod, Superman learned he shouldn't kill people, but then he went ahead and he flew a guerrilla warlord through three walls! And he's a human! He didn't learn anything! Batman didn't learn anything! No one on this movie ever learned anything!
Consider this mercy.
Yeah, because I totally get Superman being a merciful dude here.
The humanity Clark showed walking through those doors into that hearing feels so supremely undercut after that explosion, because he doesn't show anger at failing to save those people or sorrow at the loss of life. He looks mildly bothered, like he just remembered he forgot to set up his DVR to record his favorite show.
I can't remember which CSI show is on which night. It's all so confusing.
There are a lot of problems with this movie, some that I just don't have time to get into. But a lot of it lies in the mistake of making its foundation, and thus the foundation of the DCEU, purely on cynicism and negativity, and thinking that mentioning the word hope or saying justice counts as getting deep into those themes, but it really doesn't do a good job of that.
The movie thinks it's more intelligent than it really is, so it's willing to forgive itself its numerous plot holes, stuff that just plain doesn't make any sense or is against character interactions, or the pointless death of characters that had a lot of potential. Superman couldn't help his mom in under an hour. He heard other people in danger. He didn't want to seem selfish. Ahem. And let's not forget these nuggets of joy.
The bat is dead. Bury it.
Superman was never real.
You don't know this world a thing.
Ugh, nauseating.
I'm aware of the Ultimate Cut. I haven't watched it, but I've read about it, and honestly, if any of the additions in there were important enough to the story or the themes they thought they were playing with, they could have gone into the theatrical release, and they could have cut out stuff like Bruce's psychic vision or the thing with Future Flash. But hey, if you want me to review that movie because you think it makes all the stupid go away, just call Warner Brothers and set up a contract where they give me $7 million to see that movie again because it's really, really bad, as well as a contract so I can write my own title at DC without any editorial stupidity in my way. Oh, yes. That would be glorious. Because, you see, stupid does not have an expiration date. So whether it's 2016, 2019, or decades from now, this'll still be stupid, this'll still be stupid, and this'll still be stupid. Whew. Who knew losing a bet could be so cathartic?
You totally welched on the bet, brah.
No, you said I had to say 10 good things about the movie, and I did. If you didn't want me to elaborate on everything else wrong with it, you should have been more specific. Or picked a better film. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.